like a thought or whatever where it's like you can't help yourself, you can't do anything of yourself, and then I'll just like go unconscious and I'll slip into it. And what I'm finding is I'll go for like a few days and kind of be really conscious, and then I'll like slowly descend into unconsciousness, and then I find myself like I'm unconscious. So I'm just wondering, like, how does choice work?
Brandon, welcome to the show. You're on the air.
Hey, Jesse, how you doing, man?
All is well.
All is
Welcome.
well.
Yes, sir.
Nice. I've been listening to the talk show and the bond sermons for a few months now, since the summer, and I've been kind of like, I guess, a Christian, or I thought I was a Christian, since I was around 17. And some of that time, like, there was tastes of like seeing who I really am, like you talk about, or like experiencing small bits of peace and being present, things like this. What I want to ask you was, I seem to be at this point, like, to answer your biblical question.
Today's biblical question: Can you see the contradiction between the way you think and the way you are?
I can at this point, in that I keep catching my thoughts. Like, sometimes I'll kind of spiral into like a bunch of thoughts, and it's even strange sometimes at the end of it when I catch it, I'll actually hear some like snickering or like laughs or something, and it's just interesting because, or even like I remember sometimes you'll say in church where like you don't always want to say advice or counsel, because like sometimes the demons or spirits, whatever, they'll use it against like people who are still trying to come into the light. And so like right before I'm about to go like unconscious to do something that I know that I shouldn't do, or like I know, I can just feel, I know it's like not going to be good, like I'll literally hear like a thought or whatever where it's like you can't help yourself, you can't do anything of yourself, and then I'll just like go unconscious and I'll slip into it. And what I'm finding is I'll go for like a few days and kind of be really conscious, and then I'll like slowly descend into unconsciousness, and then I find myself like I'm unconscious. So I'm just wondering, like, how does choice work? Like, where does I see that there's all these identities. I see I'm evil. I see I'm possessed. I did the forgiving of my parents. But I'm just trying to understand choice, because I keep going unconscious and sometimes conscious, and I just want to return. Like, I want to come right back so I can actually live what I'm supposed to live.
Well, there's no such thing as choice. It doesn't exist. And so,
Okay.
and the only way you keep going unconscious is because you've been living in an unconscious state forever. And now
Right.
you're starting to learn the real way of living, which is a conscious state of being. And so when you find yourself going in and out, don't judge it. And just as soon as you realize you're unconscious, come back to consciousness. Just be aware of your body, be aware of your surroundings, and you're back. And then practice those little things, like when you're walking through a door from one room to another room. Be aware, and simply just be aware. See yourself walking through the door. See yourself getting in your car. See yourself sitting at the dinner table. You know, just kind of be aware without effort, and it's the awareness that's making the change, which is the mind of God.
The awareness is making the change.
Yeah.
Okay, no, that makes a lot of sense. I have heard you say that in like the sermons. I'm like listening to this stuff all the time, because it's like it's really helpful to understand deeper, or try to understand deeper at least. I keep catching the emotions. Like if I'm like suddenly I'm sad or something, I'll be like, oh, like that's not really me, and I'll just come back.
Right on.
And like the judgment thing, you're right. If I do something that I know I shouldn't do or whatever, I won't judge it. Kind of come back from it afterwards.
That's right. Have no opinion about it when you do quote unquote what you think is wrong, whether it's your vices or whatever. Have no opinion about it. Just see it, but come back and just don't call it good or bad, right or wrong. And it's the awareness of that, which is the light, the mind of God. He would take it away from you, and we eventually see that it was never you. You were the evil spirits that cause you to do the things you don't want to do. They also judge you to make you feel guilty, so it can get some type of reaction from you, in order to control you.
Totally. I even like today I said something or unconsciously just about someone, like unconsciously I was just like said something, and then later in the day I did something the exact same thing.
Yeah.
And then I literally heard some voices like start saying like, "You judge that person." Like here you are doing. I'm like, this whole thing is such a mess, and I just realized like the spiritual world is like almost taking over my physical life, and like things are just, it's like a brutal mess, and I'm trying to like wake out of it. It's almost like, you know, you see somebody in a pool who like kind of knows how to swim, they come up for air, and then they like get pulled back down and come up for air. It's like constant, and
Yeah. But
it's wild.
Stay with it, stay with it, stay with it. And just stay with it. And God is with you. And don't think about God, but God is with you and He'll take it away. You'll be fine, but you got to stay with it. Do not go back. Don't give up. Just stay with it. And again, practice being present, and you're going to be just fine.
If there's no choice, though, like
No.
how can I even practice being present or practice, like sometimes like I'll do the silent prayers like constantly,
Right.
consistently, and then I'll just stop for a couple days or something, like, and I almost feel like I don't even have control over that. Like, do you see what I mean? You sometimes say like overcome, take responsibility for your life. Once you've forgiven your parents, it's now up to you. But then I'm like, or maybe it's the spirit's telling me, or whatever, it's like, it's up to me. Like, I made a mess of everything. What, I got no choice. Like, what can I do? Like, I can't even sometimes choose to do the silent prayer. Do you see what I'm trying to say?
I do. I want you to know that you, Brandon, have never made a mess at all. You have nothing to do with the mess. It's just that you were not aware of the mess. Because when you were traumatized as a kid, you forgot about awareness, consciousness. You forgot about the mind of God. It's only when you were traumatized with anger that you forgot, and then you went into a dark world, a dark reality, which is evil of the imagination. And in that world, it created a whole mess. You had nothing to do with it.
This is why you say come out. Well, the scripture says like come out from among them, and you always say like learn to stand alone, because almost everyone, whether it's Christian or non-Christian or whatever they believe, everyone is always telling you to like change things, do something different, do like make different choices, like all that type of stuff, like inspirational stuff. It doesn't work.
That's right. Let the inspirational stuff go right to hell, as keep it in hell where it is. It doesn't work.
It's keeping me in hell. That's
right.
For sure.
Absolutely. You don't want to look for no inspirational stuff. You don't want to look for any help from without. You want to help from within. Here's what I want to recommend.
Okay.
Let's say the next time you feel a thrill of fear.
Okay.
Or you feel a thrill of loneliness or whatever.
I feel fear right now. Even right now. Just like talking to you, I feel fear.
Okay.
I know it's there.
Nice. And so what I want you to do is to stay, I recommend you do, is to stay aware of that fear. Don't try to borrow some other thought to get away from it. Don't drink some Kool-Aid to get away from it. Don't call up a friend or anyone to get away from it. Stay aware of the fear. Feel it. Stay aware of it. And the Father will save you from it. That's what He's trying to save you from. And come to me as you are, He said, in fear and in loneliness and in trembling. Don't you try to get rid of it. You let it hang and you watch it. And the watching it is the Father saving you from the false identity. Even in trembling, you can hardly walk. You can hardly, because you're so afraid of, so whatever, right? You feel it and stay with it. Stay aware of it, and you will be saved from it. It is evil. It's just nothing but darkness, and God will save. And it feels like you're hurting, and you do feel it in your body, but you're not your body. You do feel it in the body, and the body is weak because you've been given into weakness all your life. You've been given into these things. And so the body is weak, but the Spirit of God is willing to save you.
And it seems like I'm convinced that I made the mess, and everyone around me, like even in just throughout life, they are convinced that they've made like that I made a mess or that they've made a mess. So it's like constantly reinforced. But me identifying with that mess is the problem.
Yes.
It was never even me in the first place.
Right on, 100%. You, Brandon, have never, ever, 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 ever done one thing wrong in your whole life. You did not create the mess, but you believed the imagination, the thoughts, and the spirit of evil that was creating a mess. And the spirit of evil told you you were creating a mess. And then the spirit of evil inside of other people told you you created a mess, and you just believed into the lie.
That's true. I did.
But just,
Crazy.
I know, what a mess.
That is actually crazy, man.
And every human being,
Make me want to cuss.
That's right. Every human being, there's not one that is not living in a mess, but only a few, such as yourself, are trying to overcome it. But most don't, because they love their mess, and and if they see you're trying to overcome the mess, they're going to come after you to keep you in the mess so you can be in the hell that they're in, and they'll get a thrill for keeping you in the mess or
That's
trying to
true
keep you in
too.
it.
Yeah, that's true too. And
Yeah.
then they get offended if you. But I've learned though, since I've had a few conversations now over these few months, and I've learned that like I have to learn to stand alone. I can still like have that little space. I know you say like have that little
Yes.
space between you and people.
Yeah.
It really helps actually because
Yeah.
like you're able to just see clearer. But that's really interesting. You're saying that the real me actually wants to overcome whatever that real me is that I sometimes like get a taste of. It actually wants to overcome.
That's why you're doing. That's why the truth have caught up with you by allowing you to see where I'm coming from. It wasn't me. It allowed you to see it because the truth, which is God, knows that you want to overcome. So He's trying to help you, and now He's telling you to give up. Don't try to change yourself. Don't run away from the fears and the doubts and the worry, but run to them and watch them, and I got you. Because they're not
It's really
you.
interesting, man. Go ahead, sorry.
No, because they're not you. You're not your fears. You're not your doubts. You're not your loneliness. You're not this and not that. People travel all the time because they are running away from fears. They're running away from loneliness, aloneness, and all that. And they can't be helped because they're running away from the thing that would help them. It's the Spirit of God.
Yeah, I relate to that because I seem to go unconscious and like watch a bunch of TV or YouTube or something, and I
Yes.
just realize even while I'm doing it, I'm like, I'm unconscious right now. And
Absolutely.
I'm doing this, but I'm unconscious. And you're saying about fear, the spirits in me must be afraid because if I'm trembling, like my body's trembling and stuff, and the real me is not actually afraid, the spirit that's there that I'm identifying with must be afraid.
100%. And it acts out in your body and mind
Right.
because it's in your mind and in your body. You think that is you, but it's really those spirits that is
Wow.
afraid.
Right. Wow. That is, wow.
But you have always thought it was you
Yeah.
because you have felt it in your body. You heard the thoughts. It sounds like it was you, and you feel it in your body, but it's not you. I promise you, it's not you at all. Those are just evil spirits that's made a home in you.
And as long as I don't give up, I'll see it for myself. And I'll
Do
be
not,
more conscious.
if it takes a lifetime, work on you. He who endures to the end will get the prize.
Right. Which is consciousness.
That's right. And the one thing I want to tell you from this day, I want you to practice
Okay.
whatever you are feeling, whether it's fear or whatever the feeling is. Don't run away from that feeling. Stay with that feeling. Go on with your day. Go and do what you got to do. But stay with the feeling. Stay conscious of it. And it will have to leave your body.
Okay. All right, I'll test it, man. I appreciate
You're welcome.
it.
Let me know how it goes.
Okay, I will. Thanks,
right.
man.
You're welcome.